To the quarterfinals of UiTM IV. My name is Ethan. Paneling alongside me will be Ashley and Patrick. In quarterfinals 1, we have SMU Rat Pack Gang in opening government. Closing government, we have Taylor's MK. In opening opposition, we have IIUMA. And in closing opposition, we have UT Mara. Without further ado, I call this house to order on the motion about Playboy and Nurjaguri. I call upon the Prime Minister. Here.
Mr. Speaker, let's talk about how Muslim women, specifically those who choose to don the hijab, are viewed. Right? We look at them, and we look at them very largely as a largely homogeneous entity of submissive women, right? Who give themselves, or who rather are completely compliant to a Muslim society that tells them exactly what to do and how to think. This is our homogeneous view that larger society has of Muslim women who don the hijab, right? We don't look at them as more liberal people. We don't look. Basically, the fact that they have chosen to embrace their religion is thought to be at diametric odds with them having agency and them having the freedom and empowerment to do what they want, right? To be empowered people who are generally successful. We tell you to the extent that this woman allows us to dispel that notion in greater society and also change and to bring greater Muslim discourse to play, then she has done a great deal, and we do support her, right? So how is it that she engages in this dispelling of notions? Before that, let's talk about how it is that how it is that we will affect, which demographics we're likely to affect. We're not likely to affect the most conservative elements of Muslim society. This isn't an element that is going to be a large part of this debate because we don't think that their views on women are going to be changed drastically just because, of this specific act. Right? We think that they will, regardless of what women do or do not do, they are going to have largely oppressive views on women anyway. This particular act is more centered towards moderate Muslim women who will then, and also the communities that deal at large with moderate Muslim women and large Muslim diasporas, right? So communities that see hijabi women on a day-to-day basis but still hold a very homogeneous view of them. We tell you that these communities is where the discourse change is going to be most profound, and these are the communities where there is going to be the greatest form of empowerment for Muslim women because of the way in which she's acting. So what does the way in which she acts actually show about Muslim women, right? It shows that basically the act of liaising with Playboy in and of itself, which obviously has a storied history as a porn magazine. Sit down. Yeah, okay, sure. Which has a storied history as a porn magazine, right? Shows that she is willing to take up a role that would be thought to be traditionally denied to her as a Muslim hijabi woman, right? That act itself is an act of empowerment and an act of freedom. Considering that she chooses to don the hijab, that shows that she has staked a claim to a legitimate Muslim identity and a strong Muslim identity. That a woman can choose to both take the strong Muslim identity and to engage in this act shows that those two are not at diametric odds, that she has the freedom to do that, right? And that shows that society isn't oppressive enough, or that Muslim society and Muslim women are not compliant or submissive to the extent that they will not engage in these acts of freedom, right? That they will not engage in these acts of emancipation. That in itself shows that these women are not just a homogeneous, submissive, compliant entity. That's important. But more importantly, what does she actually do with this space that is given to her, right? She takes it and she co-opts it to talk about her own message. We tell you that that's important, Mr. Speaker, because it shows you that she's not complying to elements that are thought to be typically anti-Muslim. Instead, she's taking a platform that is thought to be typically anti-Muslim to do something that is perfectly legitimate for an empowered Muslim woman to do. She's appearing fully clothed and she's talking about her job, about the extent of her job, right? And she's using the discourse that is generated and the controversy that is generated by this whole thing to show that a Muslim woman who dons a hijab can be an empowered, educated woman with successful career options and can explore those career options, right? She's using a medium that is thought to be oppressive and anti-feminist to further feminist goals, right? But in the furthering of those feminist goals, she shows that those feminist goals are in line with a Muslim identity, and that a Muslim identity is congruous with one of an empowered feminist identity, right? One that could even be possibly better than the typical liberal feminist identity that is paraded as the homogeneous feminist identity. It shows basically that Muslim women can choose to be both hijabis and feminists at the same time and believe in their own empowerment. That message in and of itself is hugely powerful for Muslim women and to be told to Muslim women in moderate communities everywhere, but more importantly to larger society that Muslim women actually can believe in this, and this is a legitimate form this is a legitimate identity for these people to hold on to. Chris.
Playboy magazine, regardless of its new no nudity policy, has had a historical connotation of hypersexualizing the female body. Why subject Muslim women and even the moderates to this exposure via tabooing?
Because she is not hypersexualizing her body. That's the whole point. She's using a medium that typically does that in order to specifically not engage in that hypersexualization and show that she is empowered enough to use this medium to talk about things that aren't just hypersexualization, that aren't rudimentary, that aren't rudimentary patriarchal extensions, right? That she's able to transcend that in a medium that is taught by Muslims everywhere to be specifically only for that particular use, right? It shows that she as a woman, just because she's so empowered, can use the worst possible medium, or what is commonly perceived to be the worst possible medium, in order to achieve the best possible goals, which is to show that she's an educated, empowered woman. Now, it's also important to point out that her education and that she engages generally in a successful job is also important to know, right? Because it's very difficult to take her as being, oppressed by either a conservative, oppressive Muslim community, which is what larger community, the larger society generally thinks all hijabis are. But secondly, also that she's being oppressed by that she's being oppressed by a generally liberal, patriarchal, anti-Muslim society. So Muslims can't hold on to that, and Muslim community can't hold on to that notion of her specifically because of her cooptation and because of her, subversion of this particular medium, right? And her ability to use the medium to extend to her, to preach to her own ends, right? And we tell you that that's an important thing because it allows for both communities to understand that Muslim hijabi women can be empowered. That's an important message. Now, talking about discourse, right? How does this change and affect discourse? Number one, it shows you that there is complex thought for the role of women, because yes, there are certain women who believe that and certain Muslims who believe that she shouldn't engage in this, right? But to the extent that it shows that Muslim women themselves have complex thoughts about their own identity, and that it isn't just a patriarchal extension, and that discourse becomes apparent to the larger community, especially on social media like Twitter and Facebook, where women post elaborate posts upon this and don't just condemn it, right, but show why they are condemning it. Then it shows that Muslim identity is more complex than just being a simple bowing down to the patriarchy, and that women are in charge of their own Muslim identity. That's important. But number two, it also allows for moderate Muslim women to see that they can use mediums that are typically thought to be away and outside of their reach in order to empower themselves and in order to show that they are empowered. To the extent that this empowers women and that this empowers Muslim women in particular, we are happy.
The House thanks the Prime Minister and now invites the Leader of Opposition. Get here.
Members of the floor, I don't buy the stunt that Playboy is doing, that this is suddenly meant to respect women and that we are going to read about the sacrifices that she has had to make and that there would be no distractions whatsoever of a beautiful picture that will blind us towards a happy ending. I can assure you that this will not be at all helpful for the feminist cause, and I'm going to tell you why this also disempowers women, right? And it's basically going to be based on these two questions. Number one, why this disempowers women, and number two, why this doesn't help the feminist cause. All my rebuttals are integrated. Firstly, why this disempowers women. On the first level, we think that this demeans women to the validation of men, because I think there was a lack of characterization coming from Prime Minister as to what exactly Playboy stands for. Because I think as much as Playboy decided that they no longer wanted to have nudity in the picture, it didn't negate the fact that it was still for the idea of showing that women are sexy, that your viewers and your readers are majority men who don't necessarily want to read about like the hard-working women, but probably say, okay, here's a renegade section of the magazine, but I'm still more interested in the picture, and probably end up masturbating to the picture. And I don't think that that's very empowering, because I think what Playboy stands for is the sexualization of women that readers mostly are men with intentions of doing so. So what does government at the end of the day intend to do? So number one, it's either like what they said, is to slowly get men to appreciate hardworking women, or number two, trying to portray the idea that the hijab can be empoweringly sexy. I'm going to tell you why both of those cannot work. Firstly, that men cannot appreciate women who are hardworking by virtue of reading Nur Tagori's section within Playboy. I think first off, let's acknowledge the fact that when people end up reading magazines, or when people end up reading whatever media that exists out there, a lot of the times they have a bias or an intention, right? Like when you go reading into Playboy, I highly doubt that it's based on research. A lot of the times that it's based on wanting to get excited, or wanting to see who's the next sexy woman, and what sort of new outfit in this scenario, since nudity is no longer allowed. The fact that when they're reading, a lot of the times they're blinded by the picture as opposed to wanting to concentrate, crack down, go on the internet, Google furthermore, what are the awards did she actually get when it comes to her journalist career? We don't think that it actually ends up making men want to appreciate women in totality and seeing that this is a woman worthy acknowledging. I think they have to do a lot more, because that's questionable. But secondly, the idea of how the hijab can be sexy. No, thank you. We don't think that that's very empowering. Because notice that it still says that you are only, that it's still sexy so long as men find it sexy. That before the hijab was imposed onto women because the men of your family wanted you to do so, now the rhetoric just changes towards you should be able to wear the hijab because men can also find it sexy. Notice that you're still demeaning the value of women and the worth that they stand with in society back to the validation of men. You are just shifting the problem, not necessarily diluting that problem. We don't think that's something we want, because the message that you end up sending out is that the hijab can be acceptable, cannot be acceptable unless men approve it, and unless men find it sexy. That the woman's self-worth and the clothing and her appearance and the way she carries herself is still demeaned down to her sex appeal, and that's not something that we want. But the second reason why this empowers women is that because it creates a discourse that was is because this form of Playboy discourse that is destructive will still end up dominating airtime. We would much rather have other means that don't subjugate women to the validation of men. Things like journalism awards, write-ups, media interviews, documentaries that actually crack down on the fact that she's a journalist and the journalism work that she actually did. No. The problem with Playboy interfering is because it has caused so much uproar to the extent that Twitter and Facebook are constantly talking about it, means that a lot of the times it ends up drowning those other forms of discourse that exist out there to actually acknowledge this woman based on her merits. That the other avenues that actually end up breaking down her journey to empower an actual hijabi woman. Like, for example, we saw other means, like whether it's Malala Yousafzai being acknowledged in the international scenario, or even that recent Indonesian fashion designer that had an entire line that required women to wear the hijab during New York Fashion Week. The context that we're talking about is that given that hijabi women don't already have enough discourse that hijabs can be empowering without men in the picture, we're already still struggling outside. We can't have this form of discourse and this sort of uproar that sort of style. No. Unlike non-hijabi women, as much as Playboy shows other naked women who are non-hijabis, notice that at least outside, there is a lot of other forms of counter-narratives as well that say that it's okay for you to be sexy if you don't wear the hijab, but for you to be empowered without subjugating yourself to men. But notice that that sort of rhetoric does not yet exist for hijabi women, given the fact that even feminist movements still try to go into developing nations and saying that we're going to liberate women who wear the hijab. We don't think that the first avenue that should blind the eyes of society in empowering the hijab should be one that is placed in Playboy. But then we think that hijab is used to reflect modesty, right? Whether you do it because of family, whether non-modest things. And although Nur Tagore has opted to doing this, notice that because the sort of discourse that ends up dominating the atmosphere of the media means that people now, Muslim women, are going to feel upset that first we had men taking over our agency. Now it's a privileged women who already had a lot of opportunities now dominating again what it means to wear the hijab and associating it to unmodest means. We don't think that's very liberating for the women. If there are any POIs, I'll take it now.
Yeah, I don't understand what you want. Do you want these women to wear hijab and be comfortable with their identity and be celebrated for that? Or do you want them to devoid the idea of sexuality by not wearing the hijab? Because you can't choose both and eat your cake too.
No, I like cake, I can eat it. But I think the scenario really is that you can celebrate women, you can celebrate women in hijab, and you can do it without Playboy. The problem with Playboy is that it still subjugates the celebration of hijab back to the validation of men. That's something you have to talk about. You cannot say that Playboy, researchers and debaters read it to get away with arguments. That's not necessarily true. You still have to deal with the characterization of Playboy. But why this is bad for the discourse towards feminist movement? Because notice that the discourse hasn't been very good. That a lot of the religious people on the ground and even moderate Muslim women who wear the hijab aren't happy with this because it's associated to unmodest means. That they see it as a mockery of religion. That they see it as the Western media trying to hijack again what religion means to them. And a lot of the times, this ends up being a non-progressive and non-constructive conversations because all it ends up being is a mud singing on the media, right? We would much rather get straight to the core and talk about the merits and how the hijab can be empowering purely based on the choice of women without trapping other women into those choices and without saying that this is because of men in order for us to get that progressive conversation of what it truly means to wear the hijab without stupid Playboy in the picture. Thank you.
How stands the legal opposition and how you guys see that to be practiced. Thank you.
Can I get a bigger table?
Combine.
A whole bunch of things I'm going to have to deal with in this speech. First of all, is sexuality empowering? Second of all, what is Playboy and its audience really mean or come to stand for? And lastly, the strategy of feminism or for Islamic women reclaiming their identity. So first of all, let's examine the characterization that May gave us of Playboy. First things first, honorable panel. Now that Playboy has dropped the nudity, the demographic that reads the magazine has significantly changed. And that most people, when they want to get off or masturbate, I'm not going to tiptoe around the word, very easily can go to the internet and there are many websites, none of which I'm aware of, right? That one can use to access this sort of content. The nature of Playboy magazine really has changed, right? It's no longer one where we simply go there to access the flash brain. We think that this new article they're posting about Nur Tagore represents their attempt to change what the perception of the magazine is going to be, right? So we don't think that Playboy is going. Didn't Playboy has a lot at stake here, right? If they choose to engage in a portrayal of her that is distasteful, then they got a lot to lose from the Muslim community, from the liberal media, who are going to flame them essentially. And essentially create a lot of problems for Playboy's business model in the future. So we don't think that the portrayal is likely to be something that is distasteful. Right? What she's doing isn't necessarily something that is immodest. Her lady came up to tell you how she's going to be fully clothed and talking about journalism. I think the unique value of those actions is what she does is change what the perception of modesty is going to be. And I think that at some point people are going to accept that it's perfectly acceptable for her to appear in this magazine, hijab or not. And that's not necessarily something that is immodest or necessarily is incompatible with her Islamic identity, honorable panel. So we don't really think that that's a problem. So let's examine this big argument that came from Mera. This idea that somehow we don't have to negotiate with the patriarchy, or essentially we don't have to call liberationists to men. So we don't think so. Let's frame it in different terms. We think that at least when we actually convince men, or when we show men that not every Muslim woman is suppressed, and not every not every hijabi woman, right, is a slave to the patriarchy. We think we do something that is good. To the extent they were able to get men to be more accepting of these identities, to be less oppressive towards these women, to change that perception, we think that is a step forward in terms of what these women are able to access and what they are able to do, right? We think that's something that is good for these people. We get these liberals, right? We get liberals to accept these alternative positions, right? Because we think that very often Muslim women are under siege, not just from the right who thinks all Muslims are evil, but from the left who constantly argues that these Islamic female identities are something that's incompatible with modern feminism, right? The idea that if you wear the hijab, you're necessarily oppressed, you're necessarily a woman who is unable to really access her dreams or truly self-actualize. So we think that's incredibly problematic. But next of all, we think, even if we think we want to engage in the argument that somehow, just because she's appearing in this magazine, her portrayal is necessarily going to be sexual and disempowering. So first of all, we don't think that being sexualized is something that's we don't think that sexualization is an illegitimate way for females to be empowered. Right? We think that very often the patriarchy has often oppressed female sexuality as well, right? Telling women they constantly have to be modest, have to be this, have to be that for men. We think that's incredible double standard. When Angelina Jolie appeared in Vogue magazine for a naked and pregnant photo shoot, we don't think that was something that was degrading, something that necessarily reduced identity or was bad for the feminist movement. Right? What that managed to do was show how women can be empowered to take many different types of actions, right? They ought not be pigeonholed into this small variety of roles. I'll take closing.
Mia Khalifa featured in a porn film where she was donning a hijab while at the same time starring in a porn film where she was actively being the person who was sexualized and at the same time wearing a hijab. Are you okay with this?
To the extent that it's just absolutely incompatible with what's preached in the Quran and what Islam approves of, we don't think so. But we think there's nothing in the Quran that says you can't appear in a magazine and talk about journalism. So clearly there's an extent of this. And also, how do you know for that video? Somebody's been in the right? So let's examine what the reaction is going to be like across the different demographics of Islam. Right? What's really going to happen? Because we think that the discourse that evolves around this magazine isn't going to be something that's necessarily restricted to the magazine itself, right? We also the video back there in the LT, and this discussion of Islamic identities is something that's going to be restricted to the magazine itself, but spread out across a variety of different media platforms. It's going to be covered by New York Times, BBC, for example. There's going to be plenty of discourse about these ideas, about this, about this discussion of Islamic identity. We think that discourse is necessarily going to cover a lot of ground, right? So, may I talk about how first of all, this discourse is actually going to drown out other forms like the documentaries or whatever. So, a couple of levels to respond to that. First of all, a lot of people don't bother watching documentaries about female Islamic identities, frankly, because they think it's boring. I don't. I think it's great, but many people don't watch that recreationally. Right? To the extent that Playboy has got extended reach and the impact of Playboy going against its traditional characterization in the media is going to cause a huge amount of extended reach. You think the amount of discourse and the amount of discussion we are able to generate is something that is significantly more than what these typical feminist arguments really have in the media. Right? But second of all, we think that, so we think to an extent, we actually get people to discuss about this, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that we drown out those documentaries, right? Because many people, upon seeing this thing, are going to be interested in finding out more. Right? They are going to essentially Macdonald, they read about something in Playboy. I never thought about this in that way before. And then they go on to access more of this content. So the documentaries that man wanted to so advocate are something actually benefit in terms of the amount of pervasiveness and persuasiveness they're able to command. Simply because of this article. No, thank you. Right. So lastly, let's examine. This idea of substantive argumentation. Right. What happens after this? We think that after Tagore actually appears in the magazine, we think she's going to be able to continue on with her advocacy and activism. Right. She's able to engage in activism, by example, because we think that the impact of this Playboy magazine article isn't going to be something that happens. It's going to happen once and then stop. Right after Malala, for example, appeared in Time magazine, she was able to continue carrying on the message that she wanted to do because she got this initial big dose of public exposure. Right. So to the extent that Tagore is going to be able to continue that legacy, to become a strong symbol, right? To become a strong, empowered Muslim woman who was able to co-opt and was able to show how those identities were not necessarily incompatible. We think that's going to be extremely good for the feminist movement and for Islam as well, right? We don't think that. So, you think what are we really showing today, right? First of all, that just because they appear in Playboy doesn't necessarily mean that all Muslims are just going to, oh, this is very un-Islamic and reject it out of hand. And second of all, we talked about how the soul reach and the soul the sort of reach and the sort of access that we have is just going to be a lot more than Muslim women historically have been able to have. To the extent that we're able to change hearts and minds and get people to understand that Muslim women are not oppressed 100% of the time, extremely proud to propose.
House thanks for everyone. Yes, sir, and now invite the Deputy Leader of Opposition to conclude the opening half of this debate.
Playboy Renegade is not Vogue. It does not empower women in the way that Vogue would do. And they don't necessarily have they absolutely don't have the same demographics. Playboy Renegade got rid of nudes, and they have half nudes, and they have bikinis, and they have lingerie, right? Don't try to pretend like the demographic changed. Sure, it became smaller because the porn world exists, but the kind of people who watch it and what they do while watching it did not change. Two things that I want to talk about. First, how it impacts the non-Muslim world, and secondly, how it impacts the Muslim world. So let's talk about the non-Muslim world. So first of all, the process of empowerment that Saeed government would like you to believe relies on the following premise. The following premise is this, right? By the way, Playboy Renegade looks like this. Every page is full with a woman's picture, the vast majority of our half nudes, and you have a small description in white at the bottom right left corner of the page. The vast majority, I would hunt people who look at it are not interested at the small thing at the bottom left corner. The vast majority have their boxes down. At this point in time, tell me, how does the empowerment of women happen when they're watching that? But secondly, I'll tell you this, right? The idea that she chose is empowering is deeply flawed. Because if the perception is that hijabi women are not empowered because they could not choose not to wear the hijab, then that perception gets re-entrenched. That she could choose to be in Playboy magazine, but she still could not get rid of the hijab. That even if you want to come here, that no matter how liberal no matter how much you get involved in the liberal circle, you are still getting limited by your own community because the perception is you can never fully liberate yourself. If anything, it is vastly disempowering on the perception of women. No, thank you. The third thing to say here is this, right? But so if you are really going to do that, and if you really want to say that Muslim women can go ahead and fully integrate themselves with the liberal world, like without hijab and whatnot, like you have people like Salma Hayek who can be very empowering for that kind of perception if that's what you want to push for, right? No, thank you. Then the next thing is this, right? The idea that Playboy can be is inherently subjugated. The reason why these women are dressing or taking pictures is inherently for the sake of men. Even if she wears the hijab, even if she wears the jeans, you can't come up and tell me that if she was 70 years old, she would be there. There's a reason she's there, to please the men who are watching it. And that necessarily is inherently subjugated to the idea of men. No, thank you. The final thing to say is this. Oh guys, what happened? What about the discourse in the non-Muslim world? Like New York Times covers it. The thing is, I knew Noor Tagore was on the magazine. I didn't know it was because she made sacrifices for the journalists until Mirzal decided to highlight that. And that's the thing. That element of it gets drowned out. The New York Times writing articles does not talk about the fact that she made sacrifices, but rather discourse becomes about the outrage associated with Noor Tagore, whether it was a good thing or a bad thing, right? So the kind of discourse you have is inherently destructive, and that does not lead to the kinds of benefits of celebrating the woman and her sacrifices that you would like to have under your side. Next, what happens to the Muslim world? First of all, pissed off, nasty comments come off, not just from men, but other hijabi women who are pissed off. You can't say you are not bothered about them, because if your game is to change the perception of women, what they say on Twitter affects the perception of the Muslim community towards the outside world as well. So that you can't run away from that debate, right? Because it does get nasty even within the Muslim community, and it's out for public display. The second thing here is this, right? And by the way, their response to CGC about Mia Khalifa was like, because Mia Khalifa was not like, didn't follow the Quran, right? Yeah, because like, do you know what happens to people who are complicit in the sexualization of women? They burn in hell, right? So she's complicit by going ahead and helping Playboy. No, thank you. If that is the case, it is inherently disempowering. But more importantly, we think the way way in which Muslims are likely to perceive, like the vast majority of moderates, not just like crazy conservative oppressive men, right, is that it is a mockery of faith. That it is using hijab to be able to sexualize and to mock the faith. That is a perception that is likely to exist within the Muslim community, and that necessarily means that it's going to be like disowned by the Muslim community, which we feel like inherently stops the process of integration. But more importantly, perhaps, is this, right? You want to empower, like, by the way, they're saying like, oh, because like the leftist Muslims will support it. So what? Like, you don't need to change my and Mary's minds, right? You need to change the minds of people in the middle. We don't get a voice when we are seen to be supporting something that is inherently antithetical to Islam. When we are seen to be supporting as things that, and you are highlighting the fact that the things we are supporting is not compatible with the modern world. That hijab and Muslim identity is not, is antithetical to the contemporary world, means that you are necessarily impeding my ability to convince the Muslim world to be able to fully integrate with the liberal world. But here's the thing, right? And understand that from the outside world, it is seen as an attack, because you are also encroaching on their space by taking the hijab and going to a space that is safe for them, and to be able to say you have to accept me like that. That's a confrontational approach that's not likely to be appeasing to the vast majority of people who want to be able to see it as a sexualized, like who want it as an exclusively sexualized platform and see it as an attack on their identity. Before I move on to the next one, I'm sure.
Why can't women use their body as a space to explain about their struggles and their stories?
They can. The problem is that Playboy does not provide that platform.
Okay.
Playboy drowns out the kind of discourse you would want, because of various ways in which we just talked about, the way people see it, the fact that it's not really given a lot of attention, the kind of discourse that happens on Twitter is really, really bad, right? So we have a lot of alternatives for that. We have like, we have like the Indonesian hijabi woman who went to the fashion world and talked about hijabi women's clothes. Those are things that can happen for the same kinds of things. The problem is Playboy drowns out those alternative narratives, and that's the problem. The alternative narrative that would exist, if not for Playboy, gets drowned out because the media chooses to highlight this particular issue. Now, finally, what we think, you may agree with this, you may disagree with this, right? And by the way, modesty is not just for men. The way a lot of Muslim women who don the hijab want to empower themselves is because it's an outward show of modesty. They might do it to prevent men, they might not do it to prevent men. It's up to them why they're doing it. But the problem is, but the idea is, they show it, they do it to show that they're modest. But they agree it's different. The problem is the point at which you take hijab to a much more sexualized platform. The same problem with Mia Khalifa is this: the point at which you do it and you start sexualizing the hijab in a sexualized platform. That's when you take away the tool of empowerment for women who want to empower themselves through modesty. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an attack on one of the most vulnerable communities in the Western world. That's something we can't support.
The House thanks you, Deputy Leader of Opposition. That marks the end of the opening half of today. We'll now move to the closing half. The House invites the Member of Government.
We think the strategy of the renegade department to move away from crude sexuality, because they realize that crude sexuality is actually constricting and they're actually continuously demonized. So they took on a new strategy. At this juncture, Renegade Magazine or the Renegade Department choose to be more inclusive and explain about the complex sexuality and introduce figures that will intrigue a lot of viewers. Because right now they have a problem. It is the perverted men that read their magazine. They want to expand it. They want the liberals to read it. They want women to read it. At this important juncture, we think we need to support and continue these kind of behaviors of inclusive stories and etc. and the move away from crude sexuality. I have two questions in this speech. Number one, why Renegade's strategy to recharacterize and to allow the recharacterization of hijab is a good thing? Notice, opening government said that we can recharacterized. I will tell you why the recharacterization is exceptionally meaningful. Secondly, I will ask you why the ability for women allowing these stories to allow women to construct complex sexuality is also very important. But before that, I have one question or a few questions that is co-opted in my rebuttal. Will the celebration of Nur Tagore validate the men's perversum? I don't know, men being pervert, right? There are a few groups of people that will be validated according to LO. Number one, conservative men that says that if any form of sexualization is bad. The moment I show a bit of skin, oh, arousal, cannot see, right? This is the exact type of culture of victim blaming that they want to not happen. But secondly, we think that is also a problem because even liberal men think that the point at which women choose to wear the hijab, they are complicit in the patriarchal structure that tells them to behave that way. The problem is that there are independent women that choose to be religion devoid of what their fathers, their priests said. But these women are also assumed to be complicit with the patriarchy. We think that's a problem because your perception is assumptive. Your perception does not speak about the independence and the choice that women make to celebrate their connection with Allah, right? But it tells them they're an extension of their brother and their father, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the perception problem because it's not explanatory. Right? But the second thing that he said was that, look, the renegade side has a history of being sexualization, or being sexualized. Yes, we are changing it, right? You need to tell me why this point of sexualization is bad. But on top of that, he said that there's small box. Yes, this article is very big. There are a lot of big pictures showing the different pictures and how she dresses and how modern Muslim women dresses. That comparative is disingenuous, right? But the second thing he told you was that people will start masturbating to this article. I think the natural reaction of reading this article, a lot of public opinion, that is better because in the past, the cooptation of the, if it was a traditional media or the print media, she will be in the middle section, she will be forced to wear the bikini. Right now, she can appear in Playboy without wearing a bikini. And her expression, which would be rejected prima facie before, is now accepted. That is a good thing. And I'll explain to you why. But before that,
if it's true that Playboy doesn't want to hypersexualize women and it's all about breaking down complex identities, why does Playboy still have majority blown up pictures of very conventionally attractive women?
So I think there needs to be a distinction here. The print media does that, but even the print media has been changing. They talk about celebrities, how they choose to explain their version of sexuality, like gothic sexuality or vintage sexuality. And this kind of story is very complex. You read about it, I think they do, but the renegade version is supposed to trigger a lot of discussion and allow online participation to happen. Number one, why the recharacterization is important? Because it's I agree with opening opposition, that is often used as a sign of weakness. We think renegade gives them the space to discuss about these issues. Why? Because there are intrinsic and nuance behind the explanation of the religious choice that they make. The aura is not a choice, an extension of my brother. It's not a tool to enforce the patriarchy. It's the sign of me being close to God, that I feel comfortable closing my head. When you strip off my tudung, I feel naked. And that construction is not one that my father told, but this is how I believe my life is important to God. When will this happen? We see Sikhism, right? They choose to not shave their body or to dress in a certain way or wear the turban, right? Because it brings them close to God. More importantly, even Jehovah's Witnesses, at the point at which they deny life transfusion, is not because they hate science, because they believe that their body is a sanctity that only belongs to them, and they shouldn't be interfered with another person's body because their sin will be carried to the gates of heaven as well. These are explanations that you will never get. You will assume that a Muslim woman needs to be in the kitchen, needs to cook, and needs to teach their sons about our baby making machine, and needs to teach their son about Islam. That's a wrong story that you need to tell, because the interpretation of religious salvation is continuously assumptive, and even the liberals won't be changed in your side. So what happens if we do this? We think we allow women to construct complex version of sexuality. We think it's important not only to speak that there's a lot of different stories that women do, but it tells them that what they really want to do and whether or not they can cooperate with their religion. The main part of this article, I read it yesterday because I saw the edge course making very new motions, is that this woman wanted to be a journalist. And Playboy explained that how the struggles of being a journalist in this mainstream American media is so hard because she's deemed as an undesirable character. What do? We allow this woman to develop or empower the gender with a lot of important stories because it speaks not only to the Muslim world, to the liberal or the conservative, it speaks to other Muslim women. When this singer, I think you guys might know that, Yuna, she showed that the use of women's voice and art can be co-opted in entertainment arts, which was condemned by Islam. She showed solidarity. I think you might know this person. This person speaks about a lot of leadership, a lot of issues, and shows exceptional leadership. This woman is no other by the name of Amira Natasha Moore. She is probably the reason why a lot of young women are willing to use debate as a mechanism to explain themselves. In the Quran, there's a literal word that says that women cannot be leaders and women cannot defy, control, or rule. We think it encourages a lot of women to come out and to speak about this issue. Why? Because that's why this renegade does, right? It reaches out to people and stories get down to people. When Muslim women read about this, you'll be like, yes, in order for me to co-opt to the entertainment world, I don't need to take off my tudung and appear more susceptible to the Christian media. In order for me to be successful, I can remain who I am, and this is how I do it. I don't need to bow down to the patriarchy. Every time I see micro-discrimination, I must tell people, this is my story, because people are ignorant because they don't know. These are the kind of counter-discourse that we encourage the moment this article reaches out to the people. Because that's what the debate is about. Not about whether or not this article will reach out to people, but whether or not the reaction is positive. We think that this reaction is really positive because it gives them a space that they have never had before. Ladies and gentlemen, please vote for this motion.
House and member of government and member of opposition.
Hello, as far as I'm concerned, there's one objective whenever someone buys a Playboy magazine. And there's always one preconceived notion that someone has before they buy a Playboy magazine. I think it's important to note that the whole government bench in this debate never analyzed or never gave us a reason as to what will be the calculation of the mind of a man whenever they read the Playboy magazine, and what would they consider whenever they read an article, assuming they would even read the article before masturbating and then just putting the magazine away. Given that, ladies and gentlemen, the extension is going to come from closing opposition will be to discuss two things. Firstly, why is it unjustified for the value of Muslims to be compromised in the name of an opposing view? And second of all, why the renegade section of Playboy, and specifically the renegade section of Playboy magazine, further isolate the position of Muslim women in American society. But before that, a lot of my rebuttals from Matthew's speech especially will be integrated, but there's one that stood out. Recharacterization is something that's very important because we have to express the fact that I am being modest and I should be appreciated for being modest. Firstly, relies on the premise that this is the reaction that will be whenever someone does read, they do read this particular part of the entry. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've explained already earlier on, there is already a preconceived idea as to what they appreciate and what do they buy whenever they read these magazines. Especially when there's only one section where a person wearing a hijab will be featured, and then it's going to be flooded with other posts of women being in a more scantily wear or in a more liberal wear that may oppose this particular view as well. This means that not only are you drowning out this voice to begin with and therefore minimizes the appreciation that you want to impose as well, but it's also seemed unlikely, especially when they've never given us a characterization as to what would a man think about when he does read these magazines as well. Certainly, rightfully pointed out by the rightfully pointed out by the speaker before me, there are a lot of other ways in which women do express this form of liberation. For example, the fact that she uses mere in debating establishes the fact that whenever someone consumes the expression of liberation, they are in a position of understanding and appreciating and evaluating the patriarchy instead of not wanting to evaluate the patriarchy and only want to evaluate what the cup size that woman will be under that hijab, among other things as well. So we think that this particular characterization and the importance of that characterization is minimal at best. Let's look at my two extensions. Firstly, why is it unjustified for the values of Muslims to be compromised? So look, this is what happened. The white majority of practitioners of the Islamic faith supports and practice the modesty of donning the hijab. And this particular modesty commands the agency and also the respect of the choice of that individual. This coverage, however, under that side of the house, will create a blanket narrative that the modesty does not exist or this modesty is completely irrelevant, especially when Playboy, as rightly characterized by opening opposition, is widely publicized, is widely celebrated, and is also heavily sensationalized. Especially when there's a controversial coverage, then it's more likely that it's going to be subjected to controversy and also public scrutiny. This then means, how exactly would this modesty or this idea of modesty that's imposed or that is donned by Muslim women will stop to exist? Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, as rightly pointed out by POI in Mukris's speech, and by Mukris's POI, hijab being associated with hypersexualization is an extremely harmful thing. Because you read the narrative that the hijab is a potential fetish that would have been consumed by individuals who would read these magazines anyway. The mere fact that Mia Khalifa gained a lot of fans and gained a lot of coverage after she debuted herself in a hijab wearing a tudo is an evidence of this. No, thank you. So this will deal with the question of perverts that Max wanted to ask, right? Especially when it's not just a matter of by virtue of a woman being there, I will hypersexualize them. It's also a lot of other factors that come into play as well. Like, for example, the kind of clothes that a person would appreciate or the kind of makeup that a person would appreciate. This means that it's inevitable that sexualization will definitely happen if you were to allow this person to be covered in this particular magazine as well. And even if you do not, the reaction from the people with a short attention span after looking at other issues or other women in that particular magazine will create this narrative as well. This is important, no thank you, because you, without the consent of the members of the Muslim community, use their identity as a battering ram, to create a battering ram or to create this particular notion of liberalization that they've never consented to or they never had agency to protect as well, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why you wanting to respect the choice or wanting to respect the liberalization of women is completely unjustified. Because the difference between a single Muslim woman expressing herself and a single Muslim woman expressing herself in a huge magazine which sensationalizes, which sends this blanket narrative across people, is that you do so with the consent of individuals when this narrative also affects the other people within that community as well. They've never asked to be blanketed with the narrative that I am not a person who will be modest, that I am a person who could also possibly be sexualized by virtue of me wearing a hijab as well, and that is extremely harmful. That's when, no thank you, if the question is about liberalization, we say that liberalization on a person level is completely different as opposed to if you were to publish about it. Because if you are one Muslim woman to practice autonomy and also participate in sexualization, if you are into that, or anything that is against the value of modesty, you could still do so, but there won't be a coverage on it, and people won't have this blanket narrative, and that's the comparative as well, ladies and gentlemen. But Playboy is sensationalized, and that is extremely harmful. Yes, Max.
Not only you're saying that hypersexualization exists overwhelmingly and it's wrong because it depicts women in a very bad way. Now, even if I want to talk about it and counter this, I must ask permission from my father, my brother, and the priest. Why is this a good thing?
I'm not talking about the permission of the father and the place. I'm talking about the permission of the values of these Muslim communities who do not want to be associated with this particular value, who wants to see themselves as being modest, who practices this modesty for a very long time ever since they were kids, and who do respect this particular modesty, and we do not want to fight against that. Thirdly, we also recognize that inclusivity does not stop at having a particular community geographically in the area. It's also important for us to legitimize the values of these individuals and making sure that they do not receive the public assault of these values by virtue of this magazine as well. Secondly, the renegade section of the Playboy magazine further isolates the position of Muslim women in American society. Why? The narrative behind the renegade section throughout the years, Mr. Speaker, has always been all of the different foreign ideals of what a woman could be. Women are rebels. Women are in this particular clothing that's different from the norm of that particular society. What happens if you put a Muslim there who does wear the hijab as well? Well, we won't argue that people would be more, people would perpetuate foreign aspect onto these women even more, as it exists already right now. But we think that commercializing a difference of this woman and the existence of this woman in American society is extremely harmful, because we the notion that you want to pray over the identity of this woman, especially when you further perpetuate the difference of this woman and the value that she does within society, especially if it impacts the interaction that Muslims never consented to as well. For this very reason, exceptionally proud to host.
House thanks to member of opposition, and now was the final speaker without edge.
In a world where anyone who wears a hijab is seen as someone who is submissive to the patriarchy, someone who will never be aligned with feminism, someone who is a terrorist, we think that we need a strong narrative in order to counter that, as well as a strong woman to be an ambassador of the Muslim community. In my speech today, I would first deal with the two extensions that came out from CO before dealing on with the overall issues that came out, right? Before telling you why Max's extension was particularly valuable in this debate. So let's go on to the first question that they asked. They told you that it was unjustified to compromise the modesty of these women because some of them actually choose the modesty, right? But and they say that they do not choose to have that blanket narrative that the Playboy will give that they're not that they are sexualized and they're not modest, right? But we also say that they also did not consent to the blanket narrative that Muslim women are terrorists, that Muslim women are submissive to the patriarchy. So the real question here is which narrative is more harmful, and I will explain this more in my speech, right? But to the second extension, how they say the renegade section of the magazine would isolate the women more. We think that Max's extension particularly clashes with this. Sit down, because they only think that under our world we have a recharacterization of what the hijab really is. And as a result of this, we see that it allows stories of independent Muslim women, stories that would probably have gone hidden otherwise, will surface, right? This is where they would have more space, more of a larger platform to speak out about their struggles or about the oppression that they face in the world today, right? But more importantly, we think that recharacterization of the hijab also inspires women to remain strong and inspire women in other sections, right? This means that they would probably want to participate more in the fashion industry or the modeling industry or entertainment acts, right? We think this is a large benefit because we think that there is an underlying coercive micro-discrimination that can be countered when women are more inspired to fight against it, when they feel as though there is an ambassador who understands the struggle and supports them, right? I think this is what new therapy gives, right? So going on to this main question today, which side, sit down, which side undermines the actual value of the hijab, right? Because a lot of the arguments that came out from opposition then is that hijab reflects modesty and some women will be assaulted. But we ask the main question, so will this woman be assaulted? We are not likely to think so because Noor Turbi will be fully clothed. She'll be wearing a beautiful hijab, shown next to a well-written article, and showing her achievements and her accomplishments, right? It is shown next, and she will also be shown next to like maybe male naked women. The intense disparity between that will probably make most women proud to show that, hey, this is one woman who is clothed, and she has a whole article of her achievements amongst other women who probably do not look the way that she does. We think that it would probably mean that they're empowered more. But let's say that their harm happens, right? We think that the benefits that arises under our world will outweigh it. So this is where the question comes: which narrative is more harmful? The narrative that women are not, that Muslim women are not modest, or where under our narrative, right? We think that the narratives will not just change to men, but will also change to women. What do I mean by this? Because men will now see them as something that is beautiful instead of something that's, terrorist, something that is just simply harmful, right? But to women, especially two groups here, Muslim women, people who were simply ashamed to wear the hijab before because they believe that it was something that they will never be successful in, or something that they will always be ugly in. The moment Noor Turbi, a beautiful, successful woman, is shown in a magazine that is so different from their community itself, it would show that they have a chance in being successful, that they have a chance to be as powerful as she is, right? But to the women who are feminists that do not think that anyone who wears a hijab or the Muslim religion as a whole is not aligned with their principles of feminism, we think that they will also be changed, right? They will also be changed because they will see that hijab is not tied down to patriarchy, but can be something that can evoke success and they will learn to accept Muslim women. And what are the benefits that arise of this? Number one, we think that the feminism movement as a whole probably work towards more providing them rights or having campaigns that aim specifically towards them, right? We also think that the feminism would probably be more accommodating towards them and probably accept them more in any rights or any protests they would give, right? In all these three actors that I just said, we think that acceptance is really important in order to allow a Muslim woman to wear a hijab in their daily day and not get discriminated about this. And the more that acceptance increases, which happens on the outside, we think that it allows them to integrate more into society better without facing insidious discrimination in job applications, right? Because they're wearing a hijab on their head. But we also think that the fashion industries will also be more accommodating towards these women, and they're more likely to hire Muslim women or use hijabs in their print ads, or they're more likely to make clothes that accommodate them more, right? Accommodate to their modesty that they want to protect. We think that the modesty is more protected under our side when the industries are more likely to accommodate them. But before I move on, closing.
Stop being dismissive. Would association of the hijab being sexualized, the virtue of being in Playboy actually happen? And if yes, isn't it unfair for women who don hijab for different reasons?
I've already told you that Nur Tarubi would not be seen as a sexual character in Playboy, because she will be fully clothed, she'll be wearing a hijab next to an article that talks about her accomplishments. She will not be seen in a lingerie or a bikini or near naked. We think that she will be seen as a respectable woman, the kind of woman that a Muslim woman would want to be, right? But to the second main question in this debate, which side disempowers women more? Because we had a lot of claims how it would demean women to the validation of men. I think this is the main argument coming from opening opposition. They would say that men will never accept hardworking women, considering that they do not want to read the articles or read about this anyway. But wouldn't that mean that your alternative platform, using documentaries or using articles or using interviews, will also not work, considering that the former audience does not exist? All your benefits that they said is contingent on the fact that you will have an audience, right? In status quo, we see that has never worked. Muslim women do not give it airtime. Muslim women do not have a platform to speak out about their problems. Sit down. We need to use a platform that is popular, one that is controversial, one that is really different, in order to make the strongest impact we can on the Muslim community. But here is more likely scenario that people will actually read Playboy, considering that there's already a lot of discussion happening, that there is already a lot of discourse that's happening from the simple announcement of it, right? So there are two actors here. People who would want to read it will read it, and this is the benefit that we will get, right? But people who just skim through it, that probably maybe did not go there just to look at her article, but they think that they will still see a Muslim woman wearing a hijab in a model magazine. I think that's a narrative that is already strong enough. But to the men who will see it, maybe the worst thing that could happen on this side is that men validate them as sexy. But this is still so much better than the current status quo narrative that Muslim women are terrorists, that they are patriarchal, that they are submissive to the patriarchy. We would rather have them seen as something that could be beautiful and something that could be attractive, as compared to the narrative that they on the side for. Because your alternative to our worst case, which is them being seen as sexy, is the continuing narrative that Muslim women are dirty and they are sinful and they are terrorists. We would rather have them seen as something that could be attractive, right? For all those reasons, I'm immensely proud.
Here's how thanks to you, and now you guys help us to wait for
Harry,
you guys have it.
some vodka.
Well, what?
That's Matt.
Yeah.
Hello, I think it's important to notice that we should never try to impose a liberal perception in debate as to what exactly other females should seek to achieve. When your model offends conservative Muslims who now feel sexualized indirectly by Noura Taguri via a blanket narrative. Government in this debate can't run away from poking government under a flimsy model that doesn't tell us what exactly you're trying to empower, but at the same time not trying to deal with the characterization that we had under closing opposition, specifically within the upward speech, the gufward speech that didn't really tackle what exactly our extension was. Two things to just talk about before I move on to my issues. Firstly, well, as they were opening government told us that featuring hijab is about economically enriching the Muslim identity. Two responses to this. Firstly, it's not a benefit in and of itself. that involves utilizing a person's identity as part of a selling point, that this choice of donning a hijab is worth just because who you really are is just a person who is in Islam and wears a hijab. You think that the only reason more often not Nora Taguri is being featured in a magazine in the first place is literally not because she's beautiful, for example, or it's just because she does wear the hijab. But secondly, we think that utilizing economic incentives to make individuals compromise their values as such as creating controversy that creates any attention is harmful, because the discourse is slightly destructive on your side of the house, where probably people are trying to impose the fact that you must liberate yourself against the other conservatives who say that you should not try to liberate yourself because the Quran necessarily doesn't tell you. So we think that the more often the discourse that you create on your side is a never-ending discussion, because religion never really has a middle ground when it comes to what you want to talk about. Secondly, we think that opening government said this, they can't get away with it, right? She was not sexualized in Playboy magazine because she wears a hijab, which doesn't really tell us what necessarily they want. And then their model also, right? Because if you're not sexualized in the renegade section of the magazine within Playboy, then why can't you then be featured in other magazines like Esquire or Elle or Vogue, where we even spoke about? But even then, Nora Taguri has a better chance in Haya and Metro than what you wanted to talk about. Because more often than not, these are the destructive ideals of sexualization that you put under the ability for them to also sexualize themselves. But point is, if you didn't exclusively say why sexualization under the historical connotations of Playboy is important, then you can't get away with not telling us why it is any different from any other magazine out there. But even if this person is not sexualized in the Playboy magazine, 3 responses. Firstly, you shouldn't push these individuals to the extreme and tell them only if the extreme starts with it, like putting them in Playboy, then people want to know, then people suddenly know what exactly it means to be a moderate Muslim. But B, even if she's not sexualized, you then lose the effectiveness. Putting her in a magazine, for example. That's what Mia Khalifa, and we're willing to bite the bullet, was more often not easy to just create discourse because it's so controversial. If she's not sexualized, then there's no difference between her in this Playboy magazine and her in any other magazine out there. No, thank you. But see, if you appear in a magazine outside every other woman out there who wears a bikini, more often than not, we're willing to see that Taguri will then be sexualized, because when you see bikini, 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 and then Nora Taguri, even though she wears a hijab and is not sexualized, you will attach the connotations towards her, and that's necessarily harm. 2 things to talk about in my issues. Firstly, does it achieve empowerment that you wanted to imply on the government side? And secondly, what are the harms of the policy on your side? Also, no, thank you. So first, does it achieve empowerment that you wanted to propose? So let's have a quick chat about what empowerment necessarily is, why it's important on a level that other people can relate strongly towards, as well as it's not a benefit on a quantitative level that we're willing to make a trade-off, right? So empowerment would only be a benefit to a person who reads the magazine as a Muslim woman and feels like you've seen and read other magazines out there and even been on the internet, but nothing else can do any hope for you at a certain point, right? You watch, like you read magazines like Elle, Vivi Yusuf commercials, for example, and you still don't feel empowered at a certain point, but only Nora Taguri in Playboy magazine can somehow create an epiphany in your mind, right? Because how we see that she's featured well, thank you. Because if you're going to feature Nora Taguri as a moderate Muslim in Playboy anyway, then there's no difference in you putting her in every other magazine out there, right? But even then, no thank you. The only best thing that we heard from the government was to say, A, either she's not sexualized, or B, the renegade section of the magazine is where you can voice out your opinions, right? Which is not exclusive to other platforms out there. But why exactly? Because if you can only derive an epiphany from reading this magazine in the renegade section, that means 2 things. That firstly, you still subject yourself to the idea that you have to be the outlier within a sexualized community. That's when you'll be accepted as someone who is then different. But secondly, the only reason that you can be accepted as special is because within a sea of bikinis, you are suddenly not wearing one. And that's why you deserve to be appreciated. You think more than not on the level that creates you as an outlier, an identity that Muslim people are something that we should then seek to also accept. Let's go even deeper into that. No, thank you. And the reach out of the young women who are in the middle ground of thinking whether or not I should be sexualized or not. Because in a liberal society, a lot of young Muslim women are in this certain scenario where like you're raised thinking that Islam is one that you have to cover your aura, but at the same time you read Playboy magazine because your friends tell you so. No, thank you. This more than not creates a cognitive dissonance in people who want to be modest in Islam and doesn't know how to be that, to then be like modest in front of other people, because only Playboy, the Playboy magazine tells you that you have to be sexualized for that to be appreciated. No, thank you. Do we tell you that more often than not, the women on our side who want to earn a certain portion can't do so because you don't allow them a more moderate opinion that you can then forgive yourself in to become more empowered on your side of the house. So empowerment on the extreme level doesn't create the kind of empowerment that you want to talk about.
For sure. There's very little airtime for Muslim women to know that they can be successful, especially when in the entertainment industry ask them to take off their tudung, they want to be in news anchors, to become a model, you need to wear a bikini. Why won't it change in your
Right, so I already told you, quantitative airtime doesn't mean a benefit if it is only destructive in the narrative that you're trying to prove. So what are the harms that you want to talk about, right? In this speech, Izzat told you what the nuance of Playboy magazines necessarily are. I think it's been said enough, right? Playboy magazine, Hugh Hefner's mentioned, Kate Upton dancing sexually in a YouTube video as well. Izzat told me to talk about in my speech. I didn't watch the video myself. But what does this mean when Nora Taguri is then featured in the Playboy magazine, right? Because let's notice this important nuance. Renegade is a section in the magazine that says you are an outlier in a sea of other people out there. But before this, it was, if you, for example, a white woman versus a white woman, the only reason why you're seen as a renegade is because of a difference in personality. Now, you are only featured in the renegade section because you are Muslim and because you're wearing and donning a hijab. That creates two levels of separation. Firstly, you're an outlier who deserves to be in the renegade section, and secondly, you're Muslim and that's why you're different and deserve to be treated any differently from other people out there. It has to be a fair playground of ensuring that people are fairly represented in the magazine at the end of the day. If someone is seen as different only because of their identity, you're not going to achieve the benefits that you want to on your side. Very good.
Women of people sequence. Everybody can go and do some music at the hall. Thank you.
Sorry?